Warning: the opinions expressed in this video do not represent YouTube, associations, agencies, or any particular individuals. They are merely from two guys needing to pass the boredom of their average day lives. Some explicit content may occur in this or future presentations. Viewer discretion may be advised, but ignored if you're into that thing. Hey everybody, I'm Wild Man Wes.
And I'm the Big Bad Wolf Benny.
And welcome to part 3 of our Roddy Piper review on the Wild Wolf Show. Well, we've talked about Roddy Piper's career. We've also talked about one of his films, They Live. Now it's time to talk about another near and dear movie to our hearts from the 1980s, Hell Comes to Frogtown. Oh, I mean, They Live was great. This one, almost as good.
A little bit more campy, but that's okay.
But hey, but I love campy. I do love campy.
Oh, I love it too.
I mean, especially with Roddy Piper, it fits the bill.
Alright, so basically we're going to give you a quick summary of the movie, then we'll get into our 5 good and bad things.
Yeah. I'll let you start this one since I started off They Live.
So basically, it's post-apocalyptic world. Most of the men have been killed off. There's very few men left. There's a lot of women left. And most of the men are infertile. There are very few men that are fertile. So basically, the women who are in control decide that any man who's fertile becomes their property because, they want him to breed. They want to make more men, more soldiers to continue the war. Well, with all this nuclear radiation going on, some of the animals start mutating. If you didn't get what we were going for, it's called Frogtown. So you have like reptile-like men.
You know what we're dealing with is one of the original village people of Ninja Turtles here, wearing all that garb on.
So basically, we find out that Roddy Piper, he starts off, he's getting like tortured, interrogated by this one like border patrol guy because, he kind of banged his daughter. You find out though that she's pregnant and Roddy Piper is the most fertile man left on the planet.
The only, if I remember correctly.
So, basically, his job by the government now is just to bang fertile women, so that's like a dream come true.
And remember how I mentioned how Duke Nukem stole the bubblegum quote? I swear, Duke Nukem is probably the only fertile guy left on Earth in the video games, and that's probably where they stole that from. So Duke Nukem, you've got 2 for 2 on being a rip-off artist.
So
shame on you.
Anyway, so they have to go, they gotta save all these fertile women from Frogtown. Now, mind you, the movie's called Hell Comes to Frogtown. His last name is Hell.
His name is Sam Hell.
So, yeah, so that's kind of cool. So, anyway, so he's driving along with, what's the one chick's name?
Spangle.
Spangle.
It's played by Sandal Bergman, also from Conan the Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
Famous dancer.
Yes. And then they have a soldier with them. My favorite character by the name of...
Sentinella.
She's awesome. So basically, yeah, they're going, they go past the border patrol, they're driving around trying to go save their fertile women. So they get to Frogtown, Piper runs into one of his old friends, Looney Tunes.
Oh, Looney Tunes.
Probably the second best character in the movie, right behind Piper's character.
Yeah, Looney is basically this... old badasser.
He's a survivor.
Yeah, you know that back in his prime, he was kicking ass and taking names, and even now, he can still do it. And he's also played by a classic actor, Rory Calhoun, who always played a lot of badass characters as well. So yeah,
so
it was cast perfectly. It was perfectly cast.
So we get back to the movie. He's basically finds out where the women are, so they're gonna go get them. Then you find out there's this guy there who's not a frog, but he's selling them weapons. You don't find out who he is till the end of the movie. And, yeah, so they basically kick ass. They save the girls. They take down the frogs. They take down the bad guy. The bad guy's actually the same guy from the beginning who was beating his ass because he banged his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's trying to make another hydrogen bomb to pretty much end the world and, start it all over again in his image. So that's the basic synopsis of the movie. So we want to keep it short and sweet because the last couple of videos We couldn't help it. We love it. It's Piper. We keep talking about him.
We always say in every review we're going to keep it short and sweet, but we always end up droning on and on. But yeah.
But you guys got to remember.
Liar!
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Me too.
We love Piper, so we get kind of caught up in it, so we forget how much time's going by. So that's just your basic synopsis of the movie. So now we're going to get into our top 5 good and our top 5 bad.
Last time we did the bad first. We're going to do the good first this time.
This way, maybe you'll be interested in seeing this movie.
All right, so let's get to it. So number 5 on the good side of Hell Comes to Frogtown is actually the creature effects. For the 80s, yeah, a lot of special effects, especially with practical. It's a hit or miss. I mean, with like New Line Cinemas with A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger's makeup was always always worked. But when you do a character with makeup effects that has an alien form, it's a hit or a miss. They did it where it was more of a skeletal feature with bugged eyes. In this one, the practical effects with the special effects. Yeah, they were frogs. I mean, and the best part about it was the actors and actresses that wore the frog costumes and just the whole makeup. When they talked, you actually saw the mouths move with the way how they were speaking.
It looks good. Everything synced up.
It didn't look like a Muppet.
Yeah,
that's for damn sure.
Didn't look like Goro.
No.
So,
if it did, shame on them.
It was very good. Like I said, this is late '80s, so the effects aren't necessarily bad, but they're not at the gold standard they are today. So they looked very good. Like they looked very organic.
Well, and at the same time, it was also done by New World Pictures that did movies like the whole Killer Tomatoes franchise.
Ooh, that's a good movie.
So a lot of times when you're on a budget that's kind of limited, you have to do with what you can. And they had a home run with it. I mean, I'll say it. I mean, if people disagree, they disagree.
I don't care, because they had varying degrees. You had some that looked straight up froggish. Then you had some that were kind of just makeup that didn't have the animatronics. Mm-hmm. But they looked good. They really did. Like, that was my first thing when I'm like, man, these look pretty damn good for the time period, the movie.
Well, the female frog, Maricela, had kind of more of a human feature to her face.
She was human-esque, yeah. She didn't have just like the big puffy head like a frog. But, so yeah, it was good. It worked. I liked it. I really did. It was a really good movie. So we're going to move right along to number 4. Number 4 on the good side, as we said earlier, was Looney Tunes. He's just a great character. I mean, he pretty much, you can kind of tell that him and Hell had like a father-son sort of thing going on. He listened to Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes, he goes out like a badass.
Looney Tunes kind of reminds me of Gabby Johnson from Blazing Saddles. Just kind of out there, crazy, but at least in this one you understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Who can argue with that?
Yeah.
Rara.
He was a good character. He went out like a badass, saving everybody. I mean...
Yeah, it was sad to see him go.
It is sad to see him go, but somebody was going to die, and it wasn't going to be the 2 main characters.
Yeah, and I actually think he was one of the only few people. There wasn't a whole lot of people that died in this film, but yeah.
No, yeah, it was pretty good.
Other than the frogs,
Yeah, but they're frogs, whatever.
Yeah. So number 3 on the good side of Hell Comes to Frogtown is definitely the opening. Now, in the opening credits, it has a very comic book feel to it. I liked it. It had a lot of... simple color backgrounds where it was like it'd be a purple and black or a pink and black to kind of give you an idea of the story. That's very. I mean, we were mentioning campy, and a lot of comic books have been known to be campy, and this movie is very comic book-esque. So it worked for me. And then, as he had mentioned, it starts off with Sam Hell being tied up and getting the shit beat out of him because he had been sleeping with a man's daughter. And when he goes to become government property, just the things he says, he's very much like They Live. Roddy Piper's humor,
he's Roddy Piper.
It's spot on. His humor's spot on. If not, he might even be better than They Live. I mean, his humor.
I think he got more free range in this one.
Well, with a lot of the double entendres and puns like that.
It was good. It was really good. I loved it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's about all we can really say about the opening. It was just. We had already told you enough about it in the beginning, so we're just telling you why we really liked it.
Right along. All right. For number 2 on our list, it's one of those movies, it's so bad it's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's all we can really say about it. I mean, a lot of people do diss this movie, especially in the wrestling business, when they're making fun of Piper if they're trying to get over on him. Like, oh, why don't you go do a sequel to Hell Comes to Frogtown 2?
Well, it's no holds barred. What's that smell? Dookie.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, it's just one of those movies that's really campy, but it's so campy, it's good.
I mean, sometimes you have movies that rely upon their campiness or their humor to work. I mean, if you even look at the original Evil Dead, yeah, it wasn't the greatest in the world, but some of the humor and the excessive blood pouring out of the walls and going on into Evil Dead 2 with all that campy humor, that's what makes it one of those pop culture films and makes it so iconic. Yes. And with Hell Comes to Frogtown, a lot of the sexual innuendos and double entendres and Roddy just being Roddy Piper, that's what makes it what it is.
It's really, we love it.
So number one on the good side of Hell Comes to Frogtown would have to be the cock block bomb. So when Sam Hell is being issued into the government property status, he has a device put around his crotch. And it even says property of the government. And there's a little flashing red light on there, and anytime that he decides to bail out or get out of range of the people that are in charge, it starts to beep, and it starts to, for lack of a better word, electroshock his ass, or his dick for that matter. And he's always having to run around trying to find wherever they are, because if he doesn't, there's supposedly it's fused to blow. And this happens quite a number of times in the film, up to the point where he is basically chained up and his female counterpart Spangle is about to be seducing the big bad toady, and she starts rubbing her earring. Now, when she rubs her earring earlier on in the film, she says her earring's a device that can start to trigger the bomb on his dick. Okay, and this is what we're talking about, but this is exactly what happens in the movie. When she's getting ready to seduce the toad, a little sheet brushes against her earring on accident, setting off the cock block bomb. So he's telling the guy, this toad that's about to rip it off with a chainsaw, to stay away from him. Then it starts going off. He says, "Cut it off! Cut it off! Cut it off!" And then when the toad actually cuts off the cock block bomb, he's sitting there going, well, why would they have a fuse put in there to blow it up if you're the only fertile guy on Earth? Well, after he cuts it off, nothing happens. He says, "Set to blow my ass." And as he's saying this, the bomb actually does go off. So it actually was set to blow, but the whole time when you're wondering, it's just that zany madcap humor of, is it going to go off? Is he going to find a way to blow it or, remove it? Tune in next week type situation.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good joke. It really was. Like, whenever they wrote this movie, like, that was probably the first thing they thought of, like, I got it. We'll put a cock piece on him that blows if he takes it off. Or it doesn't do what we want. It was great. I love it.
Yeah, it was simple but effective.
Now for the part we truly dread.
Dread? We already did that one.
Yeah, well, my bad. The 5 bad things of the movie.
All right. So number 5 on the bad list of Hell Comes to Frogtown has to deal with when Sam Hell is infiltrating Frogtown. He comes across the female toad or female frog, Maricela, I believe her name is. Yeah, Maricela. And he's trying to figure out how to save Spangle after she got abducted by the big bad toady.
And all this chick wants to do is just, like, bang him. Like, that's all she wants to do. And Piper's not having it.
No, and I mean, as disturbing as it is, it's funny. However, Roddy, as funny as he is, does something that makes me just really facepalm. He gives her this big blanket and tells her to put it over her face. I mean, it's one of those moments, like in any cliche in a comedy movie, where there's someone, whether male or female, that is,
they're not good looking.
There's in the beautiful people's world, they're unattractive. So it's that type of situation where you put a paper bag over somebody's head, and in this situation, it didn't happen just once. It happened twice when she thinks that she's going to actually have a sexual romp with him. She pulls up the blanket again later on, and he goes, "Oh, stop it! Oh, cut it out!"
It is sad though. She does die, like, to save him, and you kind of see that he kind of feels bad. Like, you know, he's a good guy. He really is a good guy in this movie.
Yeah.
So you kind of feel bad for her too. Like, she was helping him.
But just I think the whole situation with that interspecies erotica.
That was weird.
I mean, at first it was cute and funny,
And
but
then
after
the
a
second
while
time,
it
it's
just
like, all right,
it's been done. Okay,
It's been done. All right.
So number 4 on the bad side of Hell Comes to Frogtown. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a confusing thing, and maybe just for me. I don't know if for you on this one. So the character of Sentinella, she's a soldier that's working with the government. Early on in the movie, when they're trying to infiltrate Frogtown, they're camping outside, and Spangle tries to seduce Sam Hell. Doesn't really work out as according to plan. Well, Sentinella decides she wants to try to seduce him while he's sleeping. Now, she almost gets to the point where she's about to get into his pants, but Spangle catches them and tries to set off the cock block bomb.
So, yeah, he pretty much just throws her off because you don't want to lose your junk.
No. And throughout the movie, Sam Hell talks about the war tearing him and his family apart. Now, he doesn't say whether or not his family was killed at all during the war.
Yeah.
And he talks about a necklace that's around his neck, and Spangle asks, you know, who is that from? He says, is that your wife's? And he goes, no, it's my daughter's. So obviously there's a sense that he's still looking for his family. Now, at the end of the movie, he does give Sentinella his daughter's necklace as a memento. Now, the thing that bothers me or confuses me is maybe Sentinella has this, you know, personality that could be like his daughter, or maybe Sentinella could be Sam Hell's daughter, and if that's the case, if they were almost about to have a little fun time, that bothers me a little bit.
I didn't really think about it that way until you brought it up, and then once you brought it up, I'm like, damn, man, that could be
because
true.
because either way, I mean, because of that, why would Sam Hell give her the necklace in the first place?
I mean, I can see where you're coming from. It's one of those questions that's left unanswered.
You think he might have would have given it to Spangle because of...
Well, yeah, but I think he's going to try to give Spangle.
Well, yeah, but, you know...
I personally would have went for Sentinella, but that's okay.
Fair enough. I just, the whole situation made me confused because what if? It was just on the bad list for me, like a what if. It was kind of a throwaway bad moment, but what can you do?
On the list.
Right? Well, let's find the other things we put on the list.
All right, number 3 on the bad side. The Dance of Three Snakes. Yeah. I know what you're thinking. What the hell is that? Well, Spangle gets captured. You know, she's a pretty hot chick, so they take her to Lord Toady, who wants her to dance for him to try to get him, like, aroused. So she's dancing, and he's getting turned on, and you kind of see, like, his pants moving. You don't know what the hell it is.
You don't just see one spot,
There's three. So that's what
we could have gone the whole movie without seeing that.
Yes.
But
so he's basically trying to, 3 of them in one,
Yeah, and I mean, Sandal Bergman, I mean, she's done a lot of campy films, as well as some good action films from the late 70s to the early to mid 80s. In this one, she mainly focused on her dancing expertise in real life, and I think in how she started off the dance was kind of goofy. She went to try to be overly funny or overly serious to be funny. It
didn't hit.
It didn't work. It didn't work for me. I mean, yeah. I really don't know what to say.
Well, what are you gonna do? So we're just gonna move on because that scene just kind of freaks me out.
I'd rather not think about it right now.
Yeah, we're gonna move on just so we can get over it.
Yeah. So number 2 on the bad side of Hell Comes to Frogtown. We had mentioned this a little bit with They Live, how John Carpenter, whether or not he was just being lazy or if he was trying to make like a precursor to Escape from New York type movie, this movie was, they tried to make it a little bit like They Live, but with, you know, post-apocalyptic. I mean, at this point in 1988, there were a lot of post-apocalyptic movies. You know, you had the Escape movies. You had Big Trouble in Little China. You had, I'm just trying to go through
There's
the
just
whole
so
list.
many. There's too hard to go through.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I say it's reminiscent of They Live is they tried to make the character of John Nada into a horn dog. They tried to, I mean, it's basically Roddy Piper just on another degree. And for me, I think it has to deal with typecasting in a way. You know, when you take a specific, you know, actor or celebrity and you put them on a show and you have them doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's very hard to try to find a new outlet. And I mean, like, and with wrestlers, it's very hard. I mean, Hulk Hogan, he always plays the same rough 'em up, tough 'em up, dude, brother, you know, and it's just in different scenarios. I mean, in Mr. Nanny, he was a nanny, and was it the Santa Claus? What Santa Claus was? Where he played bad Santa Claus. Oh man, you'll all have to help me out on this one, but you get the idea. He's a badass Santa Claus. Suburban Commando. He's from outer space, and he's still the badass.
I still like the Undertaker as one of the aliens with the girl's voice.
Oh yeah. You're dead man, Ramsey. No wonder you guys never talk. No, but now we're getting off track a little bit. But you get the idea. It has to deal with a lot of the typecasting, and as well as using the same type of plot devices from movies prior. But there is one thing that's just a little thing, but it made us more mad than anything.
All right. Yeah, number one, the newscaster at the beginning. I don't know if they were just going for, like, she didn't know what the hell she was doing, like, as an actress, or she was just trying to play it off as, like, I have no experience. I don't know even know how to say. Or she was just terrible. It was like
if nobody was watching the newscast.
It was like me and him trying to do a newscast. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. That's what she sounded like.
She basically just told the news like this, and everybody should listen because she's knows what she's talking about.
It was bad.
And she fumbled her lines a little bit, and I'm thinking.
And they left it in the movie. They left it in the movie.
I know. I mean, I understand with budget, you know, and everything, but
yeah. No, so that lady just pissed us off. Like I said,
she pissed us off and pissed all over our faces with that performance.
It's pretty bad that this is the one thing that bothers us because she's only in the movie for like a minute.
I mean, it seems like such a throwaway bad thing on the list.
But no, watch the movie and see how shitty her acting is, and then like you can get back to us. So if you go watch the movie, leave us a comment and tell us like how right we are or how bad she is, or don't. Yeah, either or.
Either way, we can handle it. Well, that's going to wrap up our whole Roddy Piper review from front to back. There may be some other things we might bring up later on where he's involved in, but until then, we're going to still keep giving you the best of the best and the worst of the worst. Till then, I'm Wildman Wes.
And I'm the Big Bad Wolf Benny.
And we'll see you next time on
the Wild Wolf Show.